On this episode of Safety Optional, I put a new alternator in my Briarwood, and I think I've got her ready to be a going to town rig. All right, so I've got the Jeep here in the shop, and it's been sitting here for quite a while, well, since the last video, with the battery tender on it, just to keep the battery topped off, but I have the battery disconnected. And this is usually how one of my Jeeps is always parked, so the battery stays topped off. But I ordered this bad boy to go in there, and this is a brand new alternator. So I gotta get that and install it down over there. So one awesome thing about this Jeep being so dadgum original, the original splash guard is still in here, which I took out of my Jeep eons ago, but it gets in the way. But you can kind of make out right there. There's the old alternator that is not charging the battery. It doesn't look super great from this view right here, but so I'm going to take down the splash guard, and then the next thing I'm going to do is take the sway bar here. This is the front sway bar. I'm going to take it off, drop these two sway bar mounts, kind of fold it out of the way. It'll fold a little bit here with the way the these sway bar end links pivot. It'll just swing down, and then I'll have more access to get up there to the alternator. Then I'll have to get up top and start loosening the belt and stuff. But first, get the splash guard and the sway bar out of the way. Now that I've got the sway bar swung down and the splash guard out of the way, you can clearly see the alternator here and the belt and everything. The belt looks in pretty good shape from down here. Some leaves and trash fell down on me whenever I pulled that out. Old spark plug box. Let's see some leaves and stuff up there. But so the next job is going to be to loosen the belt. If you look at my last video and I'm looking under the hood of my other Cherokee, you'll see that I don't have this stock air box in there, and I have like a open element filter on there. That really is not a cold air intake. It does not improve the performance. The main reason why I wanted that in there was to get rid of this to improve accessibility under there. It's easy to pull out, whereas this is going to be a pain. But let me show you why I would want accessibility. The power steering pump on these is the belt tensioner, and so to change the belt or relieve tension on the belt, you have to kind of loosen it up, and there's a bolt right there on the back side where it slides, and then down underneath there the camera down in there, down there is the tensioner bolt. Well, you can tell, obviously, my hand can't get down in there and work a wrench or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take the air box back out to make it easy to get something on there, and then you can put a impact tool of some sort on there. Having that out of there makes a big difference. And there's also room to work. Now I'm going to get to work loosening that bolt, I think that bolt, maybe one other, and then getting down on that tensioner with a driver. And as earlier I said impact, I really just meant a speed driver, so you don't have to sit here and crank on that with a ratchet for forever. All right, now you can see power steering pump's good and loose. Now I can get that belt off there. Just slides right off. Now I can get underneath, take the alternator out. This is one of those situations where having an assortment of metric flexi head ratchet wrenches is super handy. These are going to be kind of a booger bear to get up in here, especially ones like this one. You can barely get the head over it. So this wrench is going to be a lifesaver. I don't know if I can even get it back off. I'd kind of forgotten about this bolt up here that the alternator kind of swings on, and you got to kind of double nut it or double wrench it, so kind of a pain. I went ahead and took the battery out just to, you know, the whole work smarter not harder thing. Kind of dirty down there. That's better. Now I just need to get the wiring unhooked and I can pull that out. All right, old alternator, new alternator. Looks like a direct replacement. I had to take the voltage regulator off of the old one. Hopefully that's not the part that was bad. There's like two little mounts here and then studs that go here and then a wire that goes here. Same on this one. So now it's time to do the reinstallation. Before I install it, one thing that separates the seasoned mechanics from the amateurs, you always clean the contacts of these bad boys when you're putting them back together. Anything electrical, when you're putting it back together, get a wire brush, clean the contacts off. Nothing's worse than having a bad intermittent connection because you were dirty, because then you have to take it all apart and hunt it down again. So I'm going to clean all these contacts on here and then put it back together. All right, alternator is all bolted back in. And I took this bracket off here. You got to take this bracket off basically to get it out. So we got it all bolted back up, I think. So time to put the belt back on. As you're going around putting the belt back on, getting the routing, it has the belt routing right there for you in case you can't remember it. Pretty handy. Here's a better shot of that bolt down there that tensions the belt. Down there on the bottom of the power steering pump. Now, one thing that I hope goes without saying, I never use the impact or a driver to tighten the belt fully. Always do that last little bit of tightening with the ratchet while I can feel the belt tension and adjust it just perfect. You don't ever want to just drive that thing on there super tight or you're going to cause all the bearings to wear out. So a few years ago I went through Citizens Police Academy here in my town and got to do a lot of training and just learned a lot about what the police do. And one evening, one of the exercises was to search a car and try to find contraband. And in so doing, I learned that the #1 hiding spot on a car that the police always check every single time is the air cleaner box. So if you thought you were being smooth by hiding your unmentionables in the air cleaner, you're gonna get caught every time. All right, we've got it all buttoned up, back together. Air cleaner in, battery in. I don't have the sway bar hooked up yet, or the splash guard under there, just because I'll wait until I run it first. Check out everything, make sure it's working right. Let's start it up and see what it does. And looks like it's at 14 on the gauge there for volts. I like seeing that. Well, I just took a minor test drive and everything seems to be just fine. And the voltage gauge, let me show you. Stayed just right in the middle perfectly. Just like we want to see. So I have a feeling now that this thing may be ready to test out. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna get insurance on this, put my tag on it officially, and I'm gonna start driving it around a little bit and see, you know, if it's working. I'm tempted to start, you know, maybe take it into the office one day or drive it to the Boy Scout meeting some evening or something like that. Just start easing it out little by little and see if it works. You know, sometime low risk when my wife can run and pick me up if we need to, and maybe I'll even have the trailer ready to put it on there. But anyway, it's we're making progress.